Hello, this is Terry from Sturgis, South Dakota, bringing you a quilt made from 10-inch squares. And what I have done is I picked a baby fabric and just did a baby size, but you can do whatever you want. Cut your scraps into 10-inch squares, get our kit and make the just Ducky for a beautiful baby blanket. Get your own charm, or not a charm pack, excuse me, the 10-inch square pack, and make whatever size you want. Because this block, one square will make one block. So it's very easy to figure out the size that you want. And your square will come out about 8 inches, depending on your seam allowance and how you put it together. But here's what you will do. You'll get your 10-inch square and you'll cut it into 5 sections. So your first one will be 3.5 inches. So cut, read my numbers right, there we go, 3.5. So the first one is 3.5. There we go. Your next one is 2.5. And 1.5. We're going to do 1.5 twice. There's one. And I got the same little nick in my blade, it looks like. Anyway, another 1.5. And that should leave you with about a 1-inch strip left. And it does. Oh, come on. So there are your pieces. Cut all your 10-inch squares into the 5 pieces. Then I go through and stack my 1.5s together, all my 2.5s and all my 3.5s. And what I've done today is I've already mixed them up. That's the next thing. You want to mix them up so that you don't have any two of the same one in your block. Now, the next thing is mix them again. Lay them out and decide in what order you want to put your strips. I think I'll sew this one together in this fashion. I'm going to move these guys, and I've got another one here. And let's see, I'm going to put there, 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 and there. So now I've mixed them up. Mix them up, whatever fashion you want to sew them. So then start sewing. So when I did this, I lay a few out, mixed up, and I started sewing together. Once I got those sewed together, I laid out a few more, mixed them up, and started sewing together. So I'll sew. Just keep going. And if they get mixed up while you're sewing, that's okay too. Just as long as each block has one of each and two of the 1.5s. The only thing you don't want to mix up is you want to make sure that your blocks all have 1 3.5, 1 2.5, 1 1, and 2 of the 1.5s. I'm pretty sure, however I laid them out, I probably turned them around or twisted them a little bit. Because now I decided I wanted this on this side. It really doesn't make a lot of difference. Just as long as they get kind of mixed up. Sliding off a little. There we go. So now you get your blocks done, and now we need to press. So you get a whole stack and you go back and you just start pressing and press everything one direction. Now it doesn't make any difference which direction. It's just nice when you press it all the same direction, because they're not going to line up with anything. So you don't have to worry about that bulk in the seam, except in the corners as you sew your rows together. So you have your pieces, and you'll lay them out. Oh, before I can lay them out, as you can see, they're not square. So you measure your distance. And I don't have my big tape measure, so mine is coming out 8 inches. So I need to square it to 8 inches. So the first thing I do is I trim one side, because I started with 10. So I know I have enough to trim away to make an 8-inch square. Same on my other one. Trim one side. And the other. Now I have a square. Now I can lay them out. And to lay them out, one across, one up and down. And because of all these seams, you can see this one doesn't quite want to match. Chances are I've got a little pucker under a fold, but when I sew them together, they will sew together. Same as here, because I've got 4 seams that I'm trying to match up with something without a seam. So sometimes you have to ease one to the other, just like that. But just go through, lay out your rows. In this particular case, this baby blanket was made with 36 10-inch squares, laid out 6 by 6, quilted. This one I put cuddle fabric on the back, and you can see the beautiful design that the in-house staff put on it when they quilted it. They did a great job. So hopefully you'll decide to make a baby blanket or a lap, or maybe even a king. That's your choice. But that's another way to use your 10-inch squares to make a beautiful quilt. Thank you for watching, and check out our website at junctionfabric.com.